Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my Let's Play Jagged Alliance 2. I am fighting some goons near Alma. This is gonna be a very hairy fight. And this is because all of my mercenaries still have low stamina, especially Dimitri.
You called.
But at least I have some cover in this sector due to the thick trees.
You got my ear.
In the other sectors the trees were rather thin and didn't provide a really decent cover, but these trees do. So I will just have to remanage my inventory a little because
You got my ear.
didn't save after I did it last time. Which is a thing that happens quite often to me in Jagged Alliance. And it's kind of frustrating. I just forget to save after managing my inventory. And as important it is to the game to do it, it's not that fun to do it over again the exact same way you just did it a few minutes before.
You got my ear.
You called.
And right now I'm also giving Shadow a SKS
You got my ear.
to give him a better range.
You called.
Because he will most likely be in the front of my squad. So I want him to be able to shoot at the guys he sees.
Yes. You called. Yes.
Which is kind of unfortunate with Shadow if you have.
Yes.
If you can see enemies first,
You got my ear.
but you can't really shoot them because you're out of range with your weapon.
Check.
And
got
he
my
still
ear.
got the
I'm on
MP5 just in case he wants to do some burst fire. And right now I'm a little bit tempted to follow the same strategy I did in Drussen. To just shoot somewhere and wait for the enemy to crawl up. And to be honest, that would have been very likely the best way to do it.
I hear you.
But I'm doing it old school, I'm doing it the way I'm used to do it.
You called.
Just to approach the enemy step by step.
You got my ear.
You called.
It's actually kind of a new thing to me to just taunt the enemy. I did this sometime before, but it's not my standard strategy.
Yes.
I rather try to walk up on them.
We've got company.
But right now in the situation, I am able to get some hits. Well,
Crap.
maybe I'm not.
Yes.
But
Yes? Is good.
At this point I think I have a decent cover. Looking at where the enemies are coming from. I am in decent cover. But the problem about the cover in this area is that I have no way to approach.
Unfriendlies.
There's no additional cover in front of me, so I cannot take any step further.
Yes.
I didn't know where to put Ira if I wanted to bring her closer to the action. And especially with Dimitri,
Called.
I would have liked to move further to the fight. Well,
Didn't even say goodbye.
at least I'm drawing a rather not a really decent first blood.
Unfriendlies.
Because Shadow just missed 2 shots before on a completely uncovered
Can't keep this up much longer.
enemy.
Yes.
Now Dimitri is also missing, which I kind of blame also on his marksmanship. I really need to get Dimitri up above the 80 marksmanship,
Unfriendlies.
because everything
Yes.
under 80 marksmanship is kind of unreliable.
You got my ear.
Everything above 80 can hit the shot that are clearly supposed to hit,
Yes.
or they have a decent chance at hitting them. And everything underneath 80, yeah, still hits, but not
Yes.
that reliable. Yeah. Even above 80, sometimes not that reliable.
You called.
And even sometimes above 90, not that reliable. To be honest, in this situation I maybe should have switched to the MP5. The enemy should have been in range for the MP5. And
That was close enough.
this would have been a good opportunity to just open burst fire on him.
You called.
But still, as long as I take no damage, it's not a round I wanna replay.
Yes. Yes.
Now Dimitri cannot see the enemy.
Yes.
This is what I was talking about before. Dimitri is kind of out of the battle, even though he seems to be pretty
Super.
nearby the other
You called.
mercenaries. He cannot see most of the enemies. And Ira essentially cannot do anything at her position, which is also unfortunate because I would have loved to at least train her a little.
Wonder how many lives I've got left after that. You called. Yes. You called. Yes. You called.
Yeah. So in this battle, Shadow isn't really up to his best. But even the best mercenaries have their bad days. So I won't be mad at him at any way.
Sighting.
He's still my favorite.
You called? Yes. Yes? Yes.
I should be able to at least hit him once, but again,
You called?
I missed so many shots on very open enemies in this battle. It's kind of shameful. But yeah, Shadow saves the
Chamber's
day,
empty.
or at least saves the round.
Crap.
And again, the enemy is really piling up on me fast. That's what I don't
called.
like about the street encounters, that the enemy will just run towards you in a huge pack.
Yes? You called? Yes.
And in the city fights you have rather small groups running up to you, which is nice to handle. But with my tactics it's hard to handle 5 or more enemies just running straight up to you. At least
You called?
with this equipment and these mercenaries. If I would have 3 really top class mercenaries, that would have, and like an A class equipment, like an FN Mini-Me doing 6 shots in a burst round, I wouldn't mind 10 enemies approaching me at once. But with these single shots SKS guns, it's not that easy.
Yes. Yes?
You got my ear.
And again, even though I moved up Dimitri to GGBU's last
Yes.
position, he still cannot see any of the 3 enemies.
You called?
Yeah. But TG and Shadow are doing good.
Lethal. That's what you are. You called? Yes? Yes. Right. You called?
Yeah.
Yes?
That's also a reason why I prefer to fight at night. Because you won't have this long standoffs. If you approach enemies at night, usually you will kill them in the first or second round you see them. So they won't be able to do shit like that on you.
You called. Yes.
I would have been able to load that, but I wasn't also really sure where my last save game was. And I thought taking a bullet at this point is a thing I should be able to deal with. I can get somebody to heal up Shadow before we are walking into Alma.
Yes.
Should be okay. I need to rest a little bit longer with Dimitri anyway. And Dimitri just did an excellent job there, despite all what I said about him before. He just shot an enemy that he couldn't even see. Which is normally a thing for snipers that have a scope on their rifle. But if you feel lucky, you can just try that.
Yes.
With any mercenary.
Yes.
Yeah, you should try that, but the enemy should be at least in weapon range. If you shoot out of weapon range and the enemy is not even visible to the merc who is shooting, then yeah, you maybe shouldn't shoot.
I'm sure we didn't find all of Deidreana's men.
Yes.
But I would have loved for them to have kind of an indicator for marksmen and snipers later on with the scope. That they maybe cannot see the enemy but still have a good shot on them or something like that. I'm not sure if the 1.13 mod is including something like that. I really hope so, because I think that was something pretty essential missing in the game.
Roger. Yes.
But I'm not that familiar overall with the 1.13 mechanics.
You got my ear.
Maybe that would take too long to
Yes.
explain, because there might be some other takes on vision completely in the 1.13 mod. And now something really funny happened. I just gained marksmanship without hitting the enemy. I think that has something to do with his cover. Like, if I shoot his cover, but if the cover wasn't there, I would hit him. Then it is a shot that gives me marksmanship level. But I'm not really sure about that.
You got my ear.
And I think I won't make this situation anyways. Yeah. Shadow just took
You got my ear.
over 40 damage, which is much too much. So I have to load. There's no way around.
Yes.
And I will try to crouch around.
You got my ear. You got my ear.
I hear you.
Yes.
You got
But
my ear.
still no good.
Time for the enemy to say its prayers.
You got my ear.
So I could have maybe played that out with TG taking 18 damage. But I was like, if I am going to load, I wanna have this situation with this single guy who's already wounded. I just want to have that be a safe situation. So I thought
Yes.
about Dimitri could actually pick up a grenade
Yes?
and just throw it where I expect or pretty much know the enemy is. But I wasn't really in range for that. So that wasn't really an option, sadly.
You called.
So I was thinking about Shadow going first because he is camouflaged.
Yes.
You called.
So it should be easier for him to approach and not like TGP get interrupted
Yes.
on.
You called.
Yes.
You called.
But this is the sloppy situation
Yes.
I was talking about. And
You called.
in the retrospect, it's kind of
Yes.
realistic
Got company.
because I am trying to cross a road right there. And as you maybe know, open field like a road is pretty dangerous for a fighting squad.
Yes.
And should be covered. Operation. Or operation might be spoken a little high. But you still have to take care when you cross open paths
Yes.
like a road. If you have been walking on something like a
You called.
forest before. And that's pretty much what I'm facing right there. Might have been best to just sit it out.
You called.
Because the enemy has
Yes.
a good cover with this damn tree in front of him. It's really disturbing my angle on him. And I cannot really get a clear shot.
Yes.
And again, the damage is in. And as I said before, if I'm gonna load right in front of the situation, I
Yes.
want the situation to be clean, which means no damage from the one enemy I'm approaching. This is one guy giving me all this trouble. Which
Yes.
I encountered often in this game. And this is also a nice thing, because you might just approach a bunch of enemies, you shoot them down like nothing, like I did before with the other guys, and then there is one sitting guy, and he's just shooting the shit out of you.
Yes.
So you have to load all over again. But at least I'm loading in the situation where I already am closer. I think I know that this shot is probably a hit.
Got something over here.
Yes.
Now I only need to get an additional hit on him. And so close. So
Yes.
close. And still not yet.
Okay.
And again. There goes the damage. Every time I let the enemy take one shot at me, he's dealing damage. Which is really frustrating at
Yes?
this point.
You called.
The frustration. Yeah, I killed him, but I don't want to continue with
Didn't
that
even
low
say
health.
goodbye.
I want to capture Alma this night, and I cannot do that when Shadow has more than 50 damage on him. And even though I would have loved to just continue playing at this moment, I want to
Yes.
don't want to spend an additional day just waiting, healing. So I started to fire blind bursts at the enemy. And like most times the stupidest
Super.
tactic wins. Just shoot! Shoot! Shoot as many bullets as you can, and then you kill the enemy.
Yes.
That was pretty much what worked for me at this point.
Yes. Watch out. All soldiers are not dead. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
You got my ear. I'm on it.
Soldiers are not dead at all.
You got
Yes.
my ear.
I'm on it.
You called. We've got company.
Yeah.
Yes.
So TGQ still cannot see him. But that doesn't really matter as long as the enemy cannot hit me.
Yes.
You called.
Yes.
Oh yeah, gun marksmanship,
called.
that's the second level of marksmanship for TGQ in this battle.
You called.
Which is nice, 85 really is a good number for marksmanship.
You
Keep
called.
in mind, we didn't get them all. Yes.
I suppose
Yes.
that
Good.
I am able to get him
Hey,
over
Time for the
90
enemy to say its prayers.
while conquering army. Or maybe, just maybe, if I get 2 silencers
Yes.
somewhere, I will reincarnate my Shadow takes Alma play. I conquered a few sectors, I'm not sure how many, I think it was 2 or 3 sectors
You
of
called.
Alma. I conquered just with Shadow. I had other mercenaries in the squad, but I
You got
just
my
took
ear.
Shadow, took 2 MP5s,
Yes.
silencers,
Okay.
and just killed everybody with only shadow. That was really fun
Yes.
back in the days. So if I get the chance by getting silencers, I will do that again with shadow. I don't think I can do it without the silencers, because then there will be too many enemies just ramping up on me.
Yes.
Which will be too much to handle for one. But with silencers it's a really nice game. Or
Yes.
a really nice play to do.
Is good.
Also it's a good show off of what Shadow is capable of.
Yes.
You called? Yes.
Sweet.
Nighty night. Yes.
So I would guess there
Yes.
are
Watch out.
2 enemies
All
left.
soldiers are...
I didn't really count
Yes.
bodies.
Okay.
I'm
You got
just
my ear.
guessing from
Roger.
the progress
company.
bar I see on the enemies team.
Yes.
That looks like 2.
You called?
Yes.
Ah. Would have been too nice. Okay, so lying side by side
Yes.
is maybe not a good tactic in general, because there could be grenades or even worse, rocket launchers. Or grenade launchers or
Yes.
mortars. The enemy will have that all at some point. But not at this point. They might have grenades. I already saw some enemies throwing grenades at me.
Super.
But
Yes.
I am pretty
Yes.
much out of
Our eyes
grenade range for any enemy that is approaching.
Yes.
So I can just
You called.
lie side by
Check.
side with my soldiers for now.
Roger.
Which is also very warm
Yes.
and cuddly for them. And if my mercenaries
my
are
ear.
happy,
I'm
I
on
am
it.
also happy.
I'm
That's
on it.
also a thing I
You're cold.
always take into consideration.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. I hear you. I'm on a closer look at that. We've
Oh,
got
and I
company.
found an AKSU. Oh, and Shadow is hitting shots he should hit again.
Yes.
At least hitting the second one.
Yes.
Okay, that is approaching position. This is the only enemy left. You can clearly tell on the progress bar.
Yes.
As the progress bar is
called.
starting at this enemy and is depleted if the single
Yes.
enemy has depleted all his action points, and you can be sure this is the last one.
Yes.
Yes.
And do it, TG. No, damn it.
Yes.
Oh, Dimitri!
Goodbye.
Yep, we're good. Once someone notifies their next of kin, we can move on to the next
really
sector.
nice shot by Dimitri in
He's
there.
good.
He really impressed
You
me
called.
with what a mercenary
Here.
Want a closer
with
look at that?
77 marksmanship and
Yes.
less than
Here.
half a stamina
I hear ya.
can do in a battle.
You got my ear. Roger. Roger. Roger.
So
You called.
There's stuff.
let's start.
You got my ear.
And oh, did you already see what the enemy who gave me the big trouble had? He had an AK-74. The AK-74 is a legendary weapon. So I don't take any responsibility for having a hard time fighting against an enemy having it. So before I lose myself in the technical details of the AK-74, I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.